What's up, horse racing fans? Welcome to another episode of the Inside Post. Today we have the Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland for Saturday, April 8th, 2023. We will be handicapping races 5 through 10, basically the bigger stakes races on the card, and giving you our top pick, our next up contender, and one long shot play for each of those races for the Bluegrass Stakes Day. And of course, the highlight being the Bluegrass Stakes, the Kentucky Derby prep for Kentucky Derby points, giving you our best bet in there as well. So we're going to kick things off with race 5. The Commonwealth Stakes, a grade 3 stakes race for 4-year-olds and up, going 7 furlongs. Our top pick is going to be Nakatomi, currently 2-1 on the board, or fresh off the morning line, I guess you would say. After that third place finish in the tomfoolery grade 3 stakes race at Aqueduct on a muddy track, coming back in here should get a cleaner trip. I believe the weather for Saturday in Lexington should be great. The connections here with Tyler Gaffleone and Wesley Ward setting this horse up pretty well coming off of that grade 3 stakes race. Whoever finished third was the beaten favorite in there. Seems to like the Keeneland track. The biggest question is 7 furlongs his best distance? So we shall see. I think this is a good pick in here at 2-1. Definitely one to use if you are playing in the pick fours or pick five um, exotic wagers. Next up, going to the far outside, number 9, Hear Me Song, is our second pick. This one is a big price, 10-1 here for William Simpson with Alex Achard. Um, I know really bad last time, beaten favorite in the Big Daddy at Turfway Park, was like a 2-1 favorite in there, and basically just got beat in the stretch ride. I really didn't even have anything for the stretch ride. Kind of came out of the gate poorly, hoping it gets out of the gate a little better here. The 9 post, a little rough, but hey, this horse has some stakes races under its belt. Put in a pretty good breezing work yesterday at Indiana. Comes in here, not in some of the great form as some of these other ones, but I'm hoping that this horse gets back to what it was. Uh, Looking at some of the speed figures, if it runs in the speed figures that it did run in back in the fall, this horse could be a pretty good sleeper. With my sleeper pick, though, I'm also going to include Get Her Number. I believe it's number 3, 4-1 right now. Joel Rosario, Peter Miller, 17.52 lifetime. Again, beaten in the Pegasus World Cup by Art Collector and a slew of others. Finished 9th in there. Ran second in the Cigar Mile, beat out by Mind Control. I can really see this horse being the post time favorite, overtaking Nakatomi and some of the other ones in here, just based off of that class last time out in the Pacific or the Pegasus, and then the Cigar Mile, finishing second. Does come back 7 furlongs, just like last time. Shipping back in here from Santa Anita. First time running at Keeneland, so we will see what Joel does aboard for this one. And fourth, I'm using 4 picks in here, going with Run Classic. Number 7 at 3-1 for Railu Gutierrez and Brett Calhoun. Really like the past 2 starts, both stakes races, both grade 3s, a third and a fourth. Last time out, a big 108 speed figure, the best one that he's ran so far in 2023. So definitely one that's going to continue to improve and move forward in here. Next, we got the race 6 going a mile in the turf. On the turf, our first turf stakes race, the Appellation Stakes, a Japan Racing Association Grade 2 for fillies that are 3 years old. And here we have our top pick in Pleasant Passage. This is only a 9-horse field, so going with number 7, Pleasant Passage at 5-2 for Tyler G and Claude McGahee. Again, really hasn't done anything wrong. Second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, um, won the Miss Grillo Grade 2 at, I'm not sure where that last race or that win came from. Um, and then finished first, breaking its maiden at Saratoga. So has familiarity with Keeneland. Seems to be good on the Keeneland turf, and coming in at this distance looks to be a pretty good setup. Posted a really good 2 workouts, one on April 1st, one back on March 13th. So has put in really good works the past 2 times she's been out on the um, training facility. Um, Looks to be in good form. Try to get back to those winning ways in here for a graded stakes win. Next up, I have Cairo Consort, 3-1 currently. This is Irad and Todd Pletcher hooking up. Again, past 3 starts, the horse really hasn't done anything wrong. If you look back even further, the horse really hasn't done anything wrong going back to its second maiden race. Ran in the Catch a Glimpse, then the Talma Grade 1, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Race against Pleasant Passage, was finished third, finished second, or finished behind Pleasant Passage in there. And then kind of just followed up with a couple grade 3 stakes wins, and then a third in the handicap Cambridge, or the Cambridge at Gulfstream Park. Finished third in there as the heavy favorite was beaten. I think Irad will do a little bit better on traffic and negotiating her on where she needs to be. Next, we're going with Heavenly Sunday, 8-1 for Florent Giroux and Brad Cox. This is a Maya Comet owned horse out of Candy Ride. Third last time out in the Sweet Chant. Again, finished behind Cairo Consort and Alpha Bella. She was 5-2 in that race. Ran a pretty good speed figure. This was of her first stakes race out of Allowance Company. So I think definitely going to make an improvement or take a step forward in here. And at 8-1, might as well use her in this. Fourth pick, not really a long shot, but like I said, 9 horses. Going with Alpha Bella. Finished second in the Florida Oaks and second again behind Cairo Consort in that Sweet Chant Grade 3 stakes race at Gulfstream Park. Comes in here, not ran on the Keeneland turf before. Comes in here, has ran at this distance, has done fairly well at this distance, has a win at the distance. Posted a pretty good 90 speed figure, her career best last time out, and one that seems to be heading in that right direction. Another long shot would be well into 10-1 if you have a bigger ticket. Trying stakes company, graded stakes for the first time out of an allowance win. So we'll see. We may lop this one into some of our trifectas or an exacta wager. Race 7, we have the Madison, another small field in here with only 5 horses. This is probably a 2-horse race with Goodnight Olive, who is currently 2-5 favorite, as you could see. Has been on a hot win streak, winning her last 6 races. Comes in off of the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint at Keeneland, so she is very familiar with this Keeneland track. Seems to be good and set up for this 7-furlong race. Next, going with Yaguri at 10-1, big price here, just because I feel like Goodnight Olive is a standout in here. Going with Yaguri just to see if I can get a little money in an exacta and maybe steal one. Unlikely, but the horse has done really well in the past 2 starts. Stakes race at Oaklawn and an allowance for 100 some thousand. Gets Ricardo again. Rudolph Brissett has this one geared up and is trying her in here. Gonna have to work it off definitely with Goodnight Olive. Another one, Society, 3-1 currently, is our third pick with Florent and Steve Asmussen. Did poorly last out in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Is cutting back in distance, so that's a big indicator here. Going back to those 7 furlongs where I believe it was at Charlestown, the Charlestown Oaks, she finished first. So we will see what Florent Giroux can do here. Definitely has the speed to run with Goodnight Olive. It's just how fast is she going to go? Because I believe Society will get to the lead. And is she going to dictate a hot pace or a slow pace to see or to leave it up to Goodnight Olive, whether to run her down easily or set it up as a challenge. Next, we have race 8 going 5.5 furlongs on the turf in the Shakertown, a grade 2 for 3-year-olds. And here we have our top pick as Caravel, the 8-5 morning line favorite, number 8. Um, Looking back, 2 past races, big price last time out in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. At 42, 43 to 1, this horse stole the show in there. And not sure how many people didn't see it. I guess just because of the class. Coming out of that Franklin, that grade 3 stakes race at Franklin, or the Franklin grade 3 at Keeneland. Finished first in there, came in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint and stole the show at a big price. Posting her career best speed figure in both of those last 2 starts. Comes in here off a big layoff for Brad Cox in Qatar Racing. I think the horse is primed and ready to go to set up her, what would be her 6-year-old career going into 2023. Next, we are going with Artemis City Limits, number 3 at 5 to 1 as our second pick. Also ran in that Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint at another big priced horse. This one finished 5th. She was about 75 to 1. In there, again, another good speed figure coming out of that race. Time back before, she finished 3rd in the Woodford, a grade 2, and then finished 2nd in the Turf Sprint at Kentucky Downs. So one that's has some familiarity with Keeneland, has been putting in some pretty good works. Looking back, gets Irad aboard. I believe he's rode her 1-2 times, it looks like. So should set up here. Anytime Irad and Mike Maker join up, it's usually pretty good odds. 22% is their win percentage. So if you're that type of better, Artemis City Limits with Irad and Mike Maker. Next, going with Mr. At 6 to 1 for Corey Lanieri and Wayne Catalano. No stakes races, no graded stakes races for this horse. Put in a really good work back on March 16th and won last time out in an allowance 17,500 non-winners of 1. However, posted a pretty good speed figure, 104, comparable to some of the others in here, probably a little bit slower. One that looks to sit maybe mid-pack or could go to the lead. Um, it's kind of tough in here to decide what this horse could do. Has a pretty good post. I just don't think the lead will be the option. I don't think Corey's going to be able to get her out of the gate fast enough and over to dictate this pace. So I think she will sit mid pack, and that could be favorable for Mr. M or Mr. And long shot, we're going not much of a long shot. Or a heavy long shot, but Oceanic, 4th here, our 4th pick long shot at 15 to 1. Edgar Morales for Jordan Blair. Again, another horse that's coming out of the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Finished 13th in there, beaten by some of the other company in here. So kind of why it's going to be a long shot pick. However, finished 2nd in the Woodford. Did beat out Artemis City Limits in there, finished 2nd to Golden Pal, and ran one of her career best speed figures. Definitely came from the back. Looked to be shorter distance is the best distance. So getting a little bit extra distance in here, going, I believe they're going 5.5 again. So she's sticking with what she is known to be running well at. So we'll see. Oceanic, gonna have to take a big step forward, but has the ability to take that step forward. It's just, is it going to be a hot pace? Is she going to be able to make that deep run that she's so used to? Another one to consider: Arrest Me Red, Joel and Wesley Ward. So deeper tickets. You probably using this one would not hurt, as it could be one that would steal. Another one that's coming out of the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, finished 8th, and then Kentucky Downs Turf Sprint grade 2 finished 3rd in there behind Artemis City Limits. We will have our full selections down below, so just make sure to check out our blog of our ticket structure and how we will use some of these extra horses on different ticket styles. We will post a cheaper in ticket and one bigger price ticket, um, for those of you that kind of like to save up. All right, here we go. The highlight on the card, race 9 for Kentucky Derby points, the Toyota Bluegrass, a grade 1 for 3-year-olds. All right, we're going big. We are going very big in here with Scooby Quando at 15 to 1 is our top pick. Yes, the horse scratched out of the Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway. This horse is shipping in from Turfway. Um, ran in the John Battaglia Memorial $150,000 stakes back in March, the beginning of March. Again, scratched out of the Jeff Ruby's, comes in here thinking that it could fit better. Put in a pretty good work back on March 30th at the Keeneland track. So interesting here, coming in instead of running or choosing to run in the Jeff Ruby's at Turfway for Derby points there. So Ben Colebrook, Luan Machado stick with each other here. What the horse seems to be doing is improving. And at this time, that's what you want out of a Kentucky Derby runner. So increasing his speeds, kind of doing it in different ways. Looks to be one that's going to be mid pack or a little bit late runner. So something that will set up for this horse will be a faster pace. Again, has hit the board in all 3 of his starts. First race went straight into a stakes race at Turfway and won right out of the gate, which was the heavy favorite. Comes back in an allowance of non-winners, finishes second to Waldsworth. Just had a bad start, reluctant to load, did not want to go in the gate. So definitely be something to watch to see if Scooby Quando has some issues going in. Big price, anything can happen. Might as well take a shot and see what happens. Next, we're going with Tappet Trice, who is the current morning line favorite for Luis Saez and Todd Pletcher. Winner of the Tampa Bay Derby last time out, big speed figure in there. Another one that's improving, has higher speed figure in his last 4 starts from the previous one. Broke its maiden at Aqueduct, won the allowance at Gulfstream, won the Tampa Bay Derby, now trying the Keeneland Bluegrass. So a horse that's traveled well, Tampa, Aqueduct, and Gulfstream, trying Lexington for the first time to pick up some Kentucky Derby points. And next, verifying 3 to 1, our third pick, Brad Cox, Tyler Gaffalione. What was it? 4th in the Rebel Grade 2 Stakes race at Oaklawn on a sloppy track, was the heavy favorite in there. So maybe the slop is not what this horse wants. Also was beat in the Champagne by Blazing Sevens, who is in here again on the slop. So maybe if we get a clean track, clean trip, verifying could be there at the end. This 3-year-old son out of Justify. And speaking of Blazing Sevens, we are going to use him also in here with Irad and Chad at 6 to 1. Definitely one to consider on those bigger prices or bigger price tickets. Was beat out by Forte past 2 starts. Did win the Champagne, so has that under its belt. So interesting to see. Again, Chad Brown and Irad teaming up. Always have to consider these horses. And 4th, another one that we have on our Kentucky Derby top 10 video is Raise Kane, or I guess this would be almost our 4th/5th. Winner of the Gotham, so coming in off of a Derby prep win, posting a little bit better speed figure than what he's ran in the past. So again, bigger price tickets, throwing in Raising Kane here with where'd it go? Blazing Sevens. Just Joel and Ben Colebrook teaming up again. Another one out of Violence, sire. So definitely has the pedigree for this type of race. Race 10, if you are continuing to pick these, will be on our blog down below. So just make sure you click on that to get the full race 10 and race 11 betting guide for Keeneland and the Bluegrass. So there you have it. Our Toyota Bluegrass Kentucky Derby prep pick was the long shot 15 to 1 Scooby Quando as our top pick is a big price horse for the Bluegrass Stakes for Kentucky Derby points. Thank you for watching. We hope you guys win and wager, and we hope that our picks bring you some luck. Make sure to like our video and subscribe to get all of our Kentucky Derby hyped up videos with the Wood and Santa Anita Derby also coming, so make sure to go check those out on our channel as well.